this irrational fear that there's a spider crawling on me at all times. It is kind of stupid. Are you gonna take out your 7-iron and like whack me in the head with it? Oh wait, I'm gonna get really dark. No, you can keep it. You can keep it at that point. It's yours. Because I just love romance. I love love, period. That's the end of the sentence. Okay, time to sit down and film. Hey besties. No, something's missing. Something in this is missing. Let's go get a coffee. Let's go get a coffee and catch up and do some bookish hot takes. It's our turn. Hi, I had a mobile order under Destiny. Okay, let's hope that this coffee is good. Dunkin' is like a 50-50, really. Also, can I just say, my playlist, like some of the songs that are popping up are like songs that I listened to 2020. And the way that it feels right now and the time of year that this is like when COVID started happening. And I'm driving around and the way that it feels in the air and like me going to Dunkin', because I used to go to Dunkin' all the time, like when I was in high school, it literally is making me feel like I'm in high school. I am so excited to just sit down and chat. What I wanted this to feel like was kind of like we're besties, we're getting coffee, you're jamming out with me in the car, then we're gonna sit down and we're gonna like dish out our bookish hot takes. Thank you. Charlie, get back, baby. So much is going on and happening right now. I need to like consolidate. Okay, let's try this. I got almond milk in it. Oh my god, wait. Somebody is literally looking at me record. That is the most embarrassing thing ever. I have this irrational fear that there's a spider crawling on me at all times. I have come to find out that I don't like their iced lattes like at all. If I'm getting a coffee from Dunkin', it has to be just their iced coffee getting syrup in it. So today, like, I don't have a Dunkin' order. I don't. I just go and I look at the flavors and I'm like, what am I getting today? This one I think is just like a caramel vanilla swirl. That's good. And do what I'm best at and ignore that situation. Hello, is that gonna be distracting? I know you guys are gonna make comments about whatever's on the TV. You regret me and now regret you. I keep on forgetting everything. Okay, hi. Back home, we have our coffee secured. Grab your drink of choice to sit here and dish some tea, and let's get on to some hot takes. I honestly feel like this whole entire idea of like hot takes would be a really good blog post, and I feel like if you want to do a blog post, you should absolutely be doing it on Squarespace, who's the kind sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. You guys have heard me talk about them so many times, and I've even made like a little blog. I've been messing around with it. I've been messing around with little blog format of being like different little things if I ever wanted to like launch something like that. Squarespace is so easy to navigate because I'm somebody that when it comes to things like that, I literally feel like I do not know what I'm doing. All I had to do was I logged on to Squarespace, I went to their templates, I found one that kind of had the basis of what I would like, that I went in, completely personalized it to how I wanted my website to look. It was so easy. There were so many different templates and then so many different ways of customization. And another thing too, like as I'm building it, there are a bunch of different places to make it like a form of community. And I feel like everything I do, I love having like a form of community within everything. It was very easy to link all of my socials within it and to make kind of like a blog style format where people can comment and comment back to each other, and it makes it very easy for you guys to see my different socials from the website. Everything is just super easy with Squarespace. And then also from the like back end, if you are a creator or if you were wanting to set up a shop or if you're running a business off of your Squarespace website, there are so many different data and analytics to look at. Like if you are running your business and you need scheduling, there are so many options with that. or if you're running a shop or even a blog, you can see like what is bringing in traffic to your website, what is getting clicks, where people are coming from, different types of statistics that help you understand what you're doing right, what you need to improve on within your website. Like, it's all there and so much more within Squarespace to go and discover. So if you guys are interested, you guys can go to squarespace.com and start your free trial, and then when you guys are ready to launch, you guys can head to squarespace.com/JustieSidwell to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. As always, thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Seriously, let's get into some hot takes. Okay, let me find the Instagram story because I did post it a few days ago. Okay, it's been a while. Bookish Hot Takes, scrolling all the way to the bottom. Also, I feel like sometimes, everybody who does these type of videos, myself included, you tend to just like read the ones that you agree with. I'm gonna try to read as many as I can and be successful in talking very quickly and not overanalyzing things, even though that does not sound like something that I've ever done in my life. But basically, I'm also going to try to find ones that like I don't necessarily agree with, just so we can have some discourse. Okay, first one, third person isn't that bad. I don't feel like in my brain I differentiate third person, first person. Like, it's not a big deal to me in my brain. I don't really like think about it, honestly. Sometimes I don't even think about the point of view until somebody, like, I'll see someone has made a TikTok or something and they're kind of like not liking that it's in third person, and then I'm like, oh wait, like that is told in third person. I just feel like for me, the way that the story is told in a point of view from third to first doesn't really matter that much to me. It doesn't like make that much of a difference within the story. Also, I'm not going to read any of the ones that are like specific books are bad, or I'm not going to try to, because I feel like it is like a hot take if you think that an overhyped book, like you don't like it, or like a book that everybody hated, like you loved. That is like a hot take, but at the end of the day, I guess this is all opinion, but that one just feels like so opinion based, where it's just like based off of your personal book taste, if you know what I mean. Accidental pregnancy is an amazing trope when done right. I will say this, I don't mind the like accidental pregnancy trope in books. That does not really affect me. I'm more of a like, I don't enjoy when a kid is just like already in the book and they're like a main central point of the book. I just don't love that. But like the accidental pregnancy trope, I don't hate. And I think maybe when it's either at the tail end of a book or it's what the book is about is when it's like okay with me. I don't see the point in owning more than one copy of a book. I used to be this person, like for example, the one that I feel like I always say is when A Court of Silver Flames came out in paperback and they had the Barnes & Noble exclusive black cover. Oh, I'm so mad that, do you know how many times I went to Barnes and I looked at my mom and I was like, oh yeah, this is like their Barnes & Noble exclusive, like I don't get it, I just want the like regular cover. And I didn't get it, and now I'm like, you are so stupid. If I could go back in time and slap you in the face, I would, because I want that copy of the book so bad. I used to be the type that was like, I don't understand the like different copies, and like honestly at the end of the day, it is kind of stupid, the different copies, the different covers. I feel like I only ever do that if I like really love a book and you just want the special edition because it's a collector's piece, and that's how I view them. People collect different versions of comics, or people collect comics, or they collect like pops, or like whatever you collect, sports cards, whatever. I look at like the special editions and different copies and different covers of books as like a collector's piece. Enemies to Lovers is only good in fantasy books. Absolutely. I forget, I think it was a Tessa Bailey book. I think it was like her new like golf book came out where like the guy's a golfer and it says like, touch her and I'll kill you, and he's a golfer. Like, what are you gonna take out your 7-iron and like whack me in the head with it? I don't understand. Like, that one always made me giggle. Putting like fantasy tropes, like tropes that truly belong in like fantasy books or more like high stakes book, like even like dark romance enemies to lovers is different than like, you know, just regular like little romance enemies to lovers. Because it's like, let's be honest, don't call each other enemies. Like, you cannot genuinely have an enemy like in your day-to-day life. Like, I don't think so. Like, I am not an assassin and there's not a rival assassin with like a bounty on my head. When it's a workplace romance and we're talking about enemies to lovers, they just had one bad interaction, so now they're just like passive aggressive towards each other. Babe, I literally read about people who are sent to kill each other and they fall in love. But yeah, I believe that enemies to lovers is like done right in fantasy books. I think when it comes to like romances, like contemporary romances, and they say like enemies to lovers, is because we all know what it means by that. I think it's just more of like a broad term. I don't like super spicy books with only physical attraction. I am actually the same way, and I feel like this just kind of comes down to personal taste. And I think like Christina Lauren's like The True Love Experiment or something, I picked that up, and that one felt like one where it was just like pure physical attraction and there was like no chemistry. I forget other books that I picked up and I was like, this just feels like the purpose is purely just for this. Like I'm just not into that. I love books with an emotional connection, and then you can add in stuff like that later on down the road, but that's just, again, I feel like it goes down to personal preferences. Queen has decided to grace us with her presence. I knew that's exactly where she was going. She's gonna go look out the window. Love triangles, especially with two brothers, are not it. I could not agree more, because I think I've said this, I think I said it in like tier ranking tropes or something like that. I'll put the video up if I can find it. I like remember saying it in this video. For example, The Summer I Turned Pretty. Can we think about in years to come, and can we think about if a relationship within the love triangle like even lasts? Family reunions, Christmases, Thanksgiving, being around, and like you have dated both brothers. Like that is just an awkward predicament to be in. But I don't love the love triangle between brothers, and I don't love the love triangle trope. Period. I actually hate it. Third act breakups make or break a rom-com. I 100% agree, because there are so many times that a romance book that I've read has at least gone down 1-star rating because of the third act conflict slash breakup slash whatever. I have to say, I hate how, like, you guys know, like, you learned in school the, like, I forget what it's called, like a plot roller coaster or something, like how you start with the introduction, and as you go up, it's like introducing like a conflict, then it's the conflict, and then resolution, and kind of like ending of the story. Why are we still following the plot structure of like needing a third act breakup? But it's everywhere. Look at anywhere you look. For example, one of my favorite rom-coms ever, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Boom, third act conflict. The Notebook. Boom, conflict throughout the whole entire movie pretty much, but third act conflict. So many rom-coms, 13 going on 30. Boom, third act conflict. I understand why it's there. I do. I understand the purpose, but it's so annoying, especially if it's like, this is what happens a lot in romances, is that they'll introduce a small thing and then they don't talk about it, and you know, because you're a seasoned professional, that they introduced that small tiny little subplot where they like mention it and sprinkle it throughout the book just so there can be a third act conflict. Like it's written in there just so there's a third act conflict, just because they feel like there needs to be one. I don't need it. I don't need the couple to break up or have a huge blowout argument where they don't speak to each other for no apparent reason. 99% of the time, epilogues ruin stories. I remember coming across something about this, because I personally have no feelings towards epilogues. I actually kind of like epilogues because I am somebody who likes a finality of a story. Like I just like it to feel finished. If it's a standalone, I want it to feel finished. I want to have all questions answered. So I personally like epilogues. And I remember seeing one time that somebody was like, they don't love epilogues, so they just like don't read them if they see that there's an epilogue. And I understand that can be hard, because you look at it and you're like, well, there is an epilogue, so I should read it. But if you're one of these people who you're like, I find epilogues like cringy, annoying, and I don't like them, because there are some people who genuinely, they're like, I don't need to see the happy ending, have a family, getting married down the road. I can just have the story. Like I said, I'm not one of those people. I actually really enjoy the epilogue because I want the finality of it. But I would recommend, if you don't like epilogues and there is one, to just not read it, because most of the time it is just that finality for people, and I feel like that's why they separate it and it's not like an actual chapter. You know what I mean? If it was supposed to really be a part of the story, it would just be a chapter, but the epilogue is kind of almost bonus content, as I see. So it's kind of just like a bonus chapter if you want to read it. And so if you don't like epilogues, just don't read them. Not every book needs a happy ending. I would have to be in the mood to read a book that did have a happy ending, but I'm trying to even like think, there are books that I've read where they don't really have like a happy ending. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is life. It's more, you find that more in literary fiction, that it's not like everything doesn't tie up at the end. Most of the time, if people are getting a romance book, like, let's be honest, they're picking it up because they want a happy ending. But I feel like when you pick up the literary fiction books, those are more where you're going to get the more, this is just how the story ends. It's not, everything's not going to be peachy and sunshine. It's going to end kind of on a non-happy ending. And I like reading those books sometimes. Majority of the time, I prefer reading on my Kindle. I feel like if you guys, especially if you guys just watched my new release, like where I read a bunch of new releases, I literally said lately I have been like, yeah, I'll pick up a physical book and then I go and buy it on my Kindle or go see if it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I want to read it on my Kindle. I'm either wanting to like read it on my Kindle or listen to it via audiobook. I don't know what it is lately that I've really been in a stage of life for the past like few months where I just do not want to pick up a book. I feel like it's because I'm doing a lot of my reading in bed, or if I'm like out in public, I don't really like want to carry out a book with me. I used to be like, yes, I love my Kindle, but like I'm a big like physical book girly. Like I want the physical book. I want to read it on the physical book. And now I'm like, get it on the Kindle. Adaptations should be as similar to the book as possible. Absolutely. Hey, oh my god, I could rant about this forever. I think I could do a whole entire dissertation on this. If you read a book and then there's like a cult following of said book, right? Like so many people love the book. They love everything about it. Of course, there's probably like a few things of every single book that like somebody would want to change, but not really. There may be like a few things here and there that you could change that people would be fine with. But really, for the most part, like if you were reading a book and you love it, you love the book for a reason. When these like big companies then buy the rights to the book and they're going to be like, we're going to make an adaptation of it, and then they change so much of it. They change so much of the story. They leave out huge parts of the book, important dialogue that like the fans like love. Like for example, one of the things that I think the Daisy Jones and the Six show is a masterpiece. I love that show with all my heart. I love everything that came out of that show. Daisy Jones and the Six is one of my favorite books of all time. I love that book so much. One of my most favorite parts is Camilla's dialogue to Billy at one important point. If you've read it, you know, where she does this like whole entire dialogue, and she does a whole entire dialogue to another character throughout, like at the end of the book, that is just so like heart-wrenching and important, and it means so much to the plot, and they didn't put it in the show. And I'm like, listen, I still love the show. I just wish you would have done that. And I feel like when you do a adaptation, most of the time, I don't feel like you are going to fully satisfy the love that these people have for the books, because if you love a book, it's never, I don't think anything would ever really live up to it. If you aren't going to stay true to the book, why make the adaptation? Because that is why people love the book. I love writing and annotating my book. So do I. Hey, so do I, bestie. Listen, I've actually started now to like hate tabbing books. I tried to tab Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. If you guys, again, watched my new release video, I tried to tab that book, and then I ended up like taking the tabs off because I was going back and forth from like Kindle to physical copy. And I love writing my books because I love, like, for example, Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I wrote all over that book. There is so much underlined, so many thoughts inside of that book. I love it because I love to flip through like those, and I always thought like if, oh wait, I was about to get really dark. It's like a little time capsule of who you were at that very moment reading a book and what your thoughts were, and you can like go back and read it. And I just think it's such a special, beautiful thing to like annotate in books and read and write in them. And I love the aesthetic too. Do you know how many times I look up on Pinterest like book aesthetic pictures, and it's just like all written in and sticky notes and everything, and I'm like, oh, this does something to my brain. I love it so much. Somebody said I extremely dislike owning multiple copies of the same book, even ebook and physical. Me, after this whole entire video, multiple times saying I love having multiple copies of my book and on Kindle, and reading only romance is not bad. It doesn't mean you're not a real reader. I've been seeing this. I personally have not been seeing these videos on TikTok. Thank God they're not coming across my For You page, I guess, because I'm not seeing them. But I've seen a lot of discourse about people saying that they will often get comments, or they've seen video of people saying that like if you are a strictly like romance reader, that you're not a real reader and like your book tastes are terrible. And I will say this to you guys right now. Your book tastes are your book tastes. Everybody is able to share in this community what books that they like, and at the end of the day, it's just a book that you liked. You know what I mean? And you're wanting to like tell somebody else about it. You're wanting to talk about the book, but at the end of the day, it is a book that you like. You're saying that it was good to you. That you, in your personal opinion, think that something is good. And this is the thing about hype and everything that almost kind of is like so mind-boggling to me, is that So many people can love and hype up a book. I can love and hype up a book, and you will see everybody else talking about it as well, and then you can read it, and you with your own personal book taste and how things align for you and how your brain works and the way that you like a story to be told, or you like characters to be, you may not like it as much as we do, or somebody else does, or I may not like a book as much as you do. It's because reading is so personal. If you are reading books that you like, that is all that matters. Some random person who's being rude on the internet because you like reading romance books and that they're coming for your personal book taste, they're just rude. They have nothing better to do. Tell somebody what words on a paper they're reading. And I want to tell you something, this. If you pick up this book right here, and then you pick up this book right here, do you want to know what these two books have in common? No matter what book I can pick up, what they all have in common and what they will have in common forever that all makes them book, they are words on a page. They are words strung together in sentences that you are reading from front to back or from back to front. I really don't care how you're reading them because, hey, it's a book. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It doesn't matter what's happening in it. You are reading a book no matter what it is. So I just want to tell you guys, don't let people make you feel bad for what you're reading. It doesn't matter as long as you are enjoying it and it's not harmful in any way. Your book tastes are your book tastes and they're great for you, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Loving what male main characters say in books but cringing at the thought of guys in real life saying it. This has happened to me so many times where I will think about like either something that a male main character has done or that they have said that like everybody is like swooning over, and I'm like, I literally think that if somebody did that to me in real life, if somebody looked me in the face and said what some of these guys in books say, and I'm awkward. Oh my god, I don't think you guys understand how painfully awkward I am when people are nice to me. Like when people are nice to me face to face, I am the most awkward person that you have ever met on the face of the earth. If my boyfriend even pays me a compliment, if he looks me in the face and he's like, oh, like, you're so pretty, like, you're so, I'm like, no, I'm like, no. I couldn't imagine if, like, for example, to pull a quote for one of my favorite books, somebody looked at me and they're like, when I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. I think it would give me the ick. Oh my god, why? Why are you the way that you are? Not like that I'd be like, cringe, It would more be like, oh my god, I am annoyed with myself and I have the ick because I know that I'm not going to be able to receive this. Like in my brain, I'm like, how is she receiving this compliment? What did she do to receive this compliment? Because if somebody said the most poetic and beautiful words to me, I would literally probably just sit there. And that's my fault. Like, that's my fault that I cannot take these compliments. Or if somebody was, like, professing their love for me. Like, you know, even when you watch, like, movies. And it's a rom-com. And it's, like, the big, like, love profession scene. And they're like, I love you so much. It hurts to breathe. And blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't be sitting there crying. I would be like, thanks. So that's more of like, not that it would give me, well, some of the stuff, it would just give me the ick that they're doing it. It would be more of a me problem where I'd be like, I just know that I would not be able to receive that well. Hardback over paperback, easier to read without damaging it. I don't care about damaging paperbacks because it's my book at the end of the day, so I will literally, I think I've triggered so many people before because I've taken a book and just like, cracked that spine straight down the middle because I want it to be able to flip. I do not care about having cracks in the spine. I actually really love the worn in used book aesthetic. I love it so much, to look like you have loved a book, especially if it is a book that I love, because I've been flipping through those pages so much and my fingers have been touching, my oily little hands have been touching them and I've been crying in them. Like, I want them to look loved because they are loved. Like, I don't care about damaging a book. It's not like I'm chucking a book in the water. I mean more like, if there's dog ears, hey, I know I'm probably going to see so many of these. I think the dog earring books are okay. I've said it so many times. If you're borrowing somebody's book, don't be that person and like dog ear and do like crack spines to somebody else's book. This all applies to like your own books, your own material possessions that you can do whatever you want with. Absolutely never do that if you're borrowing somebody's stuff. Never like annotate and mark up a book if somebody didn't tell you to. Like, or maybe like if I hand you a book and I'm like, hey, I want you to annotate it, do whatever you want with it, yeah, that's fine. But if like you're just like, hey, can I borrow that book? And then I get it back and it is dog-eared to hell and there's writing in it, what? You can keep it. You can keep it at that point. It's yours. But I can see why people who, because there are people who like, they don't like the books, the spines crack, they don't like dog earring. I can see why you would like a hardcover, absolutely. If a fantasy has no romance in it, I can't read it. Literally, I was just talking about this on the podcast yesterday, that Yeah, me too. And I said that I don't think I could ever read like really high stakes fantasy that has barely any subplot of romance. I think that that's why I still don't know what my rating is for Red Rising. That was purely dystopian and really like no romance in it. I actually don't know how to feel when a book doesn't have romance in it, because I just love romance. I love love, period. That's the end of the sentence. But I just love when love is in a book, and it doesn't even have to be a strong plot. It doesn't have to be like the main driving force. I just want it to be there. Okay guys, I think that's kind of the general consensus of all of the responses. I feel like a lot of the times like we all have the same kind of hot takes, and most of them honestly are like how I said I wasn't going to get into like specific books, because I feel like that just kind of comes down to book taste at the end of the day, if like you think a certain series is overhyped. So those are all of the ones that we are diving into today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all of that YouTube stuff that y'all know how to do. And let me know if you like these kind of like sit down chit chatty type videos, because I really like them. I feel like it kind of feels like chatting with a friend over something. So if you like them, let me know and I will make like more of them. Maybe make them like a monthly thing, whether that's like hot takes or different type of things. Let me know down below what you would like to see, or if it's like a certain subject or like whatever. I love when I start taking a drink in the middle of a sentence. You guys know. You guys know. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love you guys and appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys when I see ya. Peace.